unless somebody reports it, that's the only way.
Okay, my 5 minutes is up.
Livable below. Right. Well, there's 5 or 6 of them in Colleyville, because people had Googled Airbnb.
Wait a minute, I didn't even. Okay.
Oh, now that's a whole different story. Mother-in-law thing you can't. It's the Airbnb you can't.
It's a house right there. Hey, look, I found a couple. I could do without having you.
There's what?
Nah, you might enjoy that.
It probably is, because there's 5 or 6 of them.
Interaction. It's good energy.
Not at all.
Oh, never. Especially in Colorado.
Should Kathy bring my tea down?
So hard.
But you're over there just making it rain, so. Oh.
Okay, I think we're ready to start.
Let's rock.
I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, I'm reconvening the meeting at 9:06. We're back in session, and we're moving to agenda item 6A, first reading and public hearing of ordinance O-20-2107, consideration of a zoning change from agricultural to R40 single-family residential on tracks 2F3 and 2F5, abstract 1692, and the Joseph White survey located at 704 Shelton Drive, case ZC 19-020.
Thank you. As you stated, this is a request to rezone from our agricultural district to the R40 single-family residential district at 704 Shelton Drive. Here's an existing aerial photo of the site. There is a structure on the property. The intent is for that to be removed and a new home to be built in its place. Really, at this time, the applicant is going through the zoning and the platting process in order to get the property ready for someone else to purchase and build a new home on the property. The current zoning is our agricultural district. As you can see on some adjacent properties, we do have a mix of R40, R30, and a couple R20 lots. The request is to go to the R40 district. It is designated for residential use, and so it will comply with that designation from our future land use map. Here's another perspective of the property. Again, you can see an older structure on the property, and the intent is for that to be removed, and then the site redeveloped. So these are the minimum standards for the R40 district, which is 40,000 square feet for the minimum lot size. After the platting, it will be approximately 41,000 square feet, so it does meet that minimum dimension. And then the lot width and the lot depth are both 150 feet, and this will have approximately 154 by 264, so it does meet all the dimensional requirements. And then any development will have to meet the setback requirements and then lot coverage and impervious coverage requirements. Here's the zoning exhibit. They are going through the plat process. It is a single lot minor plat, and so that is only a staff approval, but it does comply with all of the requirements of the R40 district.
And Ben, just on that, we're gonna remove that building line from there, right? It's got a building line on.
Yeah, I know that a lot of the surveyors are still used to providing the front building line. We can ask them to remove that and just make a note that it shall comply with the existing zoning on the lot.
Okay, and is there any right-of-way being taken?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how much that is?
It was 75 feet, I think.
It's there's a 75-foot total requirement, and so 35 feet from the center line, or 37 and a half feet from the center line. I didn't bring my legible copy. It's too small for me to
Maybe a
read.
magnifying glass?
Yeah.
So is it the
But it's,
1876 sound right? 18.
yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, it's 1792. Okay.
Yeah, it's to equal 37 and a half feet from the center line. We have verified that they are showing adequate right-of-way dedication.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying they went to the center line?
No, It's just that the requirement is to equal 37 and a half feet from the center line.
Right, okay, so
And
it's,
so that dimension plus what's already there, we have verified that it equals the 37 and a half feet.
Okay.
thank you.
They do have the topographic map and tree survey exhibit as well.
On the plat, just a quick question. That jog that's down by the road, looks like it must have been moved, that area must have been moved over to take advantage of the lane or something?
Yeah, I believe that's where the driveway was, and
Yeah.
they had to resolve that with the adjacent property.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can see the old driveway here on this exhibit.
But is is this a current house, or is this the planned house?
That's the current old house.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, so that will be removed.
So do they have to come back to us?
They would not.
Okay. As long as they meet the standards?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. So we did send our notices out to properties within 500 feet, and we did, actually, I can't remember. I do not believe we received any response back on this item. Staff does recommend approval, as does the Planning and Zoning Commission. And with
No-
that, I can answer any other
Very
questions.
good. Any questions?
As I
for
s-
Ben?
I think this plat was a topographical map, is that correct?
Right, yes, there's,
It's basically flat,
it's a,
within a couple feet.
it's a second page that was provided just to show the topography and the existing trees, which we do require as part of permitting.
Right.
And so this just gives us this information up front.
What are there's some lines, again, going back to the plat. Maybe I need to stretch it out here.
So along the perimeter,
Well, no, this thing that looks like a footprint on, back on the,
on the topographic and tree survey?
Those are
Yeah.
con-
Yeah, so that's just showing existing structures, that,
no,
the square with the X in the middle,
no, the thing that looks like a,
The contour.
It-
You're talking about the contour, it looks like a little goofy boot?
yeah.
Yeah, that's just.
yeah, that's one of the
contour.
contour lines.
Concert, so
Yeah,
it's
so-
639, 640.
Yeah, probably, and
So it's-
so,
Well, like 3 feet or something for the whole lot, it looks like.
yeah, but when they come in with a new plan for a new house, they have to provide all new engineering.
Okay,
So they may raise the profile, they may change, they may dig a pond. So they'll have the existing contours, and then they'll also have the new proposed contours.
Okay.
Engineering will look at that.
all right, okay,
That's correct.
all right. I know we like to focus on lots that are especially sloped or something.
And our Public Works Engineer's Office review all new building permits for homes, in addition to our commercial projects, but also for homes. And so they will look at the proposed drainage very closely.
Yeah, again, I just want to make sure that we're asking the right questions and
Yes.
know what's happening, what's coming. That's what I want.
Yeah.
What I want to make sure happens. Thank you.
Any other question for Ben?
No.
Have it. This is a lot easier than the last one. So if there's no other question, I'm going to open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Have no cards. Anyone wish to speak? Only have one person to look at. I see no one indicating they want to speak, so I'm going to close the public hearing. So this is first reading. If there's no other questions, we're going to move on to the next agenda item.
Smooth.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you want to say anything?
Just had all the fun he could.
Okay. All right, moving to agenda item 6B. This is also first reading and public hearing of ordinance O-20-2108. Consideration of an amendment to the PUDR planned unit development residential zoning district regarding driveways and private walkways for the Carmel Place Estate subdivision, being lots 1 through 9 and lots 10X, 11X, and 12X, Block 1, Carmel Place Estates located at 4800 through 4920 Carmel Place, case ZC 19-021.
All right, thank you. So this is an amendment to the existing planning and development ordinance in place for Carmel Place Estates. So this is off of Glade Road, the south side. It does include the 9 residential lots. And so this amendment will apply to all of the lots within this boundary. As it currently it is currently zoned PUD residential and designated for residential use, so it does comply with that. So this is a subdivision that was developed, at least the public infrastructure, several years ago. Took a while for any houses to be built. We now see activity on this street. And one of the things that has come up several times is what type of finish they can do to the pavement, the concrete, or their driveways and their sidewalks. So this is what they are proposing as a final finish for the driveways. This is called a salt finish. After they pour the concrete, they sprinkle rock salt all over it, and then they water it down, and the rock salt dissolves, and it leaves this finish that you see here. So basically little holes where the rock salt used to be before it dissolved. So this is the popular finish that everyone wants, apparently. And
I have a question about that picture.
okay.
Does it require the solid surround, or is that's just the finish they use? In other
I
words,
think that's just the design they have for this. It does not need to include that.
I was going to say it can be.
Yeah, it could be 100%
completely
if
covered,
they
right.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, when we lived in Arizona, we had this kind of finish around the pool because it actually keeps your feet cool. They call it cool coat.
Yeah, cool decking.
For there, but yeah, it in Arizona you don't want concrete that's flat because it'll burn your feet off.
Okay. So the intent is to allow for this finish. Apparently in their CCNRs, covenants and conditions and restrictions, it does already allow for the salt finish, but the existing planning and development language does not. So the top part is the existing language where it says it shall only be washed aggregate or stamped finished concrete. And so the proposal would then just be to add the salt finish as one of the options for any of the proposed concrete for driveways and walkways. So it is a very minor amendment in our opinion. We did send our notices out to surrounding property owners as required and did not receive any response back. So staff recommends approval, as does the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Are lots 10X, 11X, and 12X, is that those open space lots?
Yes, those are the open space
Okay.
lots.
When it says private sidewalks, is that any sidewalks or the sidewalks that border the street? Are they included?
It does not include the ones bordering the street. Those are
Okay.
public sidewalks.
Okay.
And there's probably something associated with the ADA requirements where it has to be a brush
Yeah,
finish or
okay.
something different than this.
Private sidewalk would be connection from the house to the driveway.
Yeah, right.
or around
Right.
the back.
Yeah,
Or
okay,
even to those public sidewalks.
okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Nope.
Pretty straightforward, I think. If not, I'll open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. I have no cards, and I have no one out there to speak, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. So that's the first reading. We have no action to take tonight. We'll take action at the next meeting.
Yeah, I guess one of my only questions is, have we never required or allowed the salt finish before?
No, in
Is
this,
this the first one?
in this particular case, it was a condition in the ordinance.
Yeah.
And so we would have, as a staff matter, not even been concerned with it. But this ordinance specifically provided for limitations on private driveways and
Yeah.
walkways.
Oh, okay.
Private walkways and driveways. So we said, because it was so clear in the ordinance, we had to bring it back for amendment.
Sure, that makes sense.
I've got a question I forgot to ask a while ago when we were talking about that LD Lockett item. I noticed, and I just forgot to ask this. When it showed the property, it looked like is the zoning on that property ag, had that plot not been platted? Because it didn't show right away up near LD Lockett that I noticed.
With the barn
Yeah,
accessory dwelling, no, it is zoned R40.
okay. Okay, interesting.
So there may have been an error in the GIS. Was there right-of-way dedicated?
I don't believe right-of-way has been dedicated to the level of some of the other properties because that property is such an old property.
So
Meaning that I mean, it's an old house. It's probably been there since the 60s, and
Yeah.
that property has existed in that.
I think the question is
is
why didn't we ask them for right-of-way as part of it then?
So
Yeah.
with the tear down of the principal's house and a new house,
Yeah.
they will have to go through the plat process. And so at that time, we will get right-of-way dedication,
Okay, very good.
yes.
Thank you.
And we have informed them of that requirement.
Okay.
So
Good.
they are aware of that.
Okay. Thank you. So we're now on agenda item number 7A, which is reading and public hearing of resolution R-20-4459. A resolution adopting the Tarrant County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan, January 2020. Whereas the City of Colleyville City Council recognizes the threat natural hazards pose to people and property within Colleyville and Tarrant County, and whereas Colleyville has assisted in the preparation of a multi-hazard mitigation plan hereby known as Tarrant County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan 2020, in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, and whereas the Tarrant County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan, January 2020, identifies mitigation goals and action to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in Colleyville from the impacts of future hazards and disasters, and whereas adoption by the City of Colleyville City Council demonstrates their commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the Tarrant County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan, January 2020. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Colleyville, Texas, Section 1, that in accordance with the Colleyville Charter, the City of Colleyville City Council hereby approves this resolution as the adoption of the Tarrant County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan, January 2020, and it is so resolved.
My name is Kenny Phillips. I'm Emergency Management Coordinator for the City of Colleyville, and I'd like to seek resolution to adopt the 2020 Tarrant County Emergency Action Plan. 30 cities within Tarrant County have been working over a year and a half on this project, and what we do is we rate 10 different potential disasters that can strike this region. And then after we rank them, we have to have 2 action items for each disaster that can strike, mitigation action items, whether it's adding more bridges and work on our flood area, which I've included in here. The last plan, we were able to put a generator in this facility because we made this area our backup EOC. So it fell in the plan, and when disaster struck Colleyville, we applied for a grant and were able to seek funds to get a generator to operate City Hall and the library.
That's great.
It's a very useful tool, and I've been working with Ray to seek other opportunities when the next disaster happens in the state of Texas. I plan on seeking more mitigation funds so we can alleviate some of the flooding throughout the city.
Okay. Gotcha. So the disaster didn't happen here, but elsewhere in Texas, but we were able to take advantage of that to do something that's in the plan.
Correct.
That would help us or help the whole area if that disaster was here.
When there's a federally
Yeah.
declared disaster and FEMA comes in, they put money towards the state, and any city within the state of Texas can apply for grant funds.
Oh, very good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for the application.
Yeah.
Worked out
Yeah.
very well.
But we have to have this approved every 5 years.
Okay.
This plan and the emergency action plan, which I'm about 75% complete, and I'll be seeking another resolution to adopt that plan.
Okay, and that's our city emergency action plan?
Yes, sir.
That we've reviewed before?
Right.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we
So-
appreciate your hard work. on this.
Enjoy it.
Very much, Kenny.
What off the top of your head, are there some examples like the generator that might come up in the future?
Right now, I'm looking at improving the way we close the roads, Jackson Road and that area, make it an automatic system
Yeah.
where we don't have to have police officers or firefighters or public works out there in the middle of the night trying to close roads and open them back up. So if I get grant money, do something like that.
Yeah.
There's over 30 different action items in my plan. So if you want to go online, the city web, and look at the different action items. And like I said, Ray's just completed their water plan, and hopefully we can get some grant money to work on that project.
Good. Super. I don't know how much money this is. You know, in those areas that we have to close, eventually there'll need to be bridges, like on Pool Road, a bridge built that's capable of avoiding that. Is anything that big in?
There's
that
a
will be funded?
possibility. The money is dependent on how much damage is.
Okay.
Like Harvey was really big,
Yeah.
but most of that money is going
got
to
you.
the Houston,
Yeah.
Galveston
Yeah, I
area.
understand.
So it just depends on how much damage was caused by that, so. But I continue to look to replace Jackson Bridge, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you
I'd
for
like
this.
to say something.
Yeah.
Captain Phillips is the one that you get all your weather reports and your,
Absolutely.
the staff. Thank you so much. And you did such a great job down here presenting this. You know, maybe Chief Cantrell could take some lessons. And
I
maybe you would
doubt
even,
that very seriously.
maybe, you might want to do it full-time to come down here and do all the speeches for Chief Cantrell.
There you go.
And he's
I only
doing it
say
with a
that because
smile.
Chief's in the back. If you can't see us at home, he's in the back. We'd like to give him a hard time, but Captain Phillips, thank you so much. You're an
Thank you,
awesome
sir.
person.
Yeah.
I
If
appreciate
you
it.
have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Kenny. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Ready for a motion?
I have to do a public hearing. If there's no more questions, I'm going to open a public hearing.
Just a quick comment. Captain Phillips is involved in so much training across the board. We're doing training on an ongoing basis, and he coordinates it with all of our senior staff, and
Yeah.
you and I have participated in some of that.
Yep.
And we appreciate all the time and effort you put into that, and thank you.
There we do.
Let us know when it's not so senior staff, some of us lower. You
You're welcome to
seniors.
join us. What was it, 2 days
Well, they're
last
the
time?
seniors, the older,
We'll bring them along for the 2 days.
we're the younger generation, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe he can help with the people that need help on the security, the test for the IT.
Cybertron.
Okay, I'm going to open a public hearing. Public hearing is open. I have no cards, and there's no one wishing to speak, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Now a motion is in order.
I move adoption of Resolution R-20-4459.
I'll second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Dodson, a second by Councilmember Wheat. You open the vote, please.
Who hesitates? Don't get to second.
That motion is approved, therefore the resolution is approved. So we're moving to agenda item 8, which is citizens' comments, and we have no cards or people that want to speak. So we'll move to 9. There's some planning, P&Z Commission items there. Anybody have any questions or comments on any of that?
Nope.
No? Then we have no need of 10, and then we're adjourned unless you object. Adjourned, thank you. What time is it? 9:29.
You nailed it.
Who got that?
Huh? Yeah. It's at 9:30 today. You nailed it.
Well done, Mayor.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but you know.